Hi everybody, this is Leanne and I'm here with Sherry Wong. We're in Singapore right now.
It's the best place ever. Hello.
So excited. We're facing this amazing view in WeWork and I haven't seen Sherry in like 3 years.
I know, it's been a long time.
Yeah, super long time. So Sherry is a YouTuber, entrepreneur. Basically, she does like everything and she'll talk to you guys about that later. Just to begin, can you tell us all your job titles?
Oh, gosh.
What do you do? Yes.
So what I do full time, I have my own startup. So earlier this year, I became an entrepreneur myself. And on the side, I'm a YouTuber. So I create content. I love it. That's very much a part-time thing. But because of my full-time job, my startup's in the creator economy, it all ties in together nicely.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess on the side, I also like cycling as a hobby. But those are my two main focuses, and the biggest priority is my startup.
So when I first met you, you were still working at a CV.
Yeah.
So how do you become like CV to entrepreneur? And you're not from Singapore.
No, so I am originally from Canada, born and raised there. Moved to Singapore to join the VC almost 4 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, almost 4 years ago. I was originally working at a VC that was investing in the creator economy.
Okay.
So we were investing in early stage, pre-seed, seed stage startups that were doing either tech companies building tools or infrastructure for the creator economy. So anything that enables creators to create content better or to be able to manage their finances better, just anything on that side. And then the other side, we're investing in creator-led businesses. So a lot of creators, when you think of like, let's say a huge YouTuber wanting to launch their own athleisure wear line, they would launch a direct-to-consumer brand.
Yeah.
And if they need funding behind that, then they could come talk to us. So that's what I did.
So you like reach out to so were you in the finance side or like
I was not in the finance side.
Okay,
I
okay.
studied something, I don't know if you know this. I studied molecular biology in university.
I did not know this.
So I do not have a finance background. So
Okay.
it was quite a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have it any other way. So on my side, I guess if you wanted to consider it in the traditional VC sense, I was doing a lot of more of the deal sourcing and relationship management with the people that we were either going to invest in or have already invested in.
Okay.
So it's very much still people interactions, which is what I really love.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So it was much more on the people aspect.
Yes.
And then after I left, Next 10 Ventures was the VC's name.
Yeah.
I joined another early stage startup.
Yeah.
And then finally, earlier this year, I started my own company.
Wow.
So it's been a journey.
Congrats, first of all. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So, okay, one just question first. How can you stay in Singapore? So you're not from here and you don't have a company to support your visa. So
that is a very legit question.
yeah,
for sure.
I'm just wondering, and I'm sure like so many people are just wondering like how can you be an entrepreneur here without like a backing of a company?
Yeah, so when I first moved to Singapore, as with any other professional who's a foreigner coming to Singapore, there's like a work visa that you can get. So there's usually an S pass or like employment pass, which is EP. I was on an EP, and so when I was transitioning into my entrepreneurial journey, obviously the visa was tied to my previous company. So I actually got this specific type of work visa called an EntrePass for entrepreneurs in Singapore.
Oh, what?
Which is what I think is so great about the Singapore government is they really have like the infrastructure to support budding entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So EntrePass is another type of work visa, except it's not necessarily tied to an entity yet because a lot of people have not formed an entity when they're joining it. So there's a few ways you can get an EntrePass in Singapore. You can either join an incubator / accelerator program.
Oh yeah.
Which is about I went down.
Okay.
And then, or if you want to apply outside of a program unaffiliated, then you can just show the right documentations and backing. So maybe you already fundraised and you've got the support of VCs in the region. So there's a few different ways you can go about it. And usually if you do it on your own outside, you'll need recommendation letters for people in the tech ecosystem. So I joined an incubator program earlier this year in February.
Okay.
And that's how I got, how I didn't get deported.
I'm just like wondering, I need to get it out of the way first.
So I am here legally.
Okay, good.
So we're good. And since then I've incorporated a company as well, but I am still on an EntrePass.
Yeah.
It's just a little more flexible. So with other work visas, there's minimum salary requirements that you need in order to have those visas. With an EntrePass, there's no minimum salary, obviously because most of us are not paying ourselves yet.
Oh my god, that's a path we have to go through as an entrepreneur.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I'm in Singapore.
Okay, great. But like, why Singapore though? Like, why not like Hong Kong or?
That's a really good question.
Because I don't know, like, because a lot of people also think about Hong Kong, and I have a lot of Singaporean friends who are in Hong Kong to do their startups.
With Singapore, honestly, when I got the job opportunity to move here 4 years ago, I never planned to move to Singapore. Actually, I wanted to move back to the States from Canada.
I remember this.
But I don't know. I got the opportunity. It was too good to pass on. Crazy Rich Asians just came out. I was like,
Let's go to
Singapore.
Singapore. Yeah.
But it was. I've only read good things about working in Singapore. So after I moved here, it's been a couple years now. I really love it.
Yeah.
I really love Singapore because I think it's a good mix of East and West. Hong Kong is really similar, I guess, in that regard as well.
Yeah.
But as an Asian American, it's kind of like, it's a great place. I get to connect with my Asian side, but then there's also so many foreigners, and Singapore attracts really talented people. You may be in entirely different industries like arts, but if you manage to get a work visa to be in Singapore, you're probably doing something cool in the arts.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
So it kind of feels like there's just such an abundant talent pool here. So I love Singapore for that. And then I think like the way everything's set up, it supports entrepreneurs, and I just really love it here. Honestly.
I can tell, like, just from all your stories, like you're just like having the time of your life here. I
really
feel.
do like it here.
I don't know, like honestly, I've been just like thinking about moving.
Yeah.
So for next year, like, you know, I want to like do my own thing.
Yeah.
I don't know where I should go, and like I don't know how difficult it is to move away.
Well, you're not bound by borders for what you want to do. It's remote anyway. So
I think it's a really, like, I wouldn't say Asian concept, but it's like a really common concept for people to think like, okay, I'm like from here, I don't have a foreign passport, I can't go anywhere else. But you're right. Like, there's so many ways you can like.
When there's a will, there's a way.
That's so true.
For sure. Actually, I'm inspired by the people I've met here because, I think I was really fortunate that I had a company that offered me the opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have ever been like, let me just go move to Singapore out of the blue and figure out a way to make the logistics work. But I have friends who are a little bit more of the digital nomad type. Like, they would find ways to live in Mexico City and in Bali. Bali is pretty popular as well. And they just find a way to make the visa situation work.
Yeah.
And I think that's super admirable. If you really wanted to move somewhere, there's nothing stopping you, honestly. All the information's online.
Like, honestly, like the digital nomad life, I thought about it. I kind of want to try. Yeah.
Where would you go?
Like, everywhere, honestly.
Okay, so like you don't necessarily have a specific place in mind, but you want to actually be able to just travel and like a couple months here, a couple months there.
Yes, exactly.
I know so many people who are moving out of Singapore next year. Like my own friends, because they all just want to experience something new, and a lot of them, if they work for a big tech company, the tech company have already moved towards full remote, like no office. A lot of companies are like that.
I think compared to here, Hong Kong is still a bit more fast paced.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's just so weird to feel everyone like slowing down, or even just like, you know, walking on the street, because Hong Kong was like, no, like we need to like run on the street.
Yeah, like, have you been to the like MTR? It's just like everyone's running in and out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in Singapore people still do like stroll around sometimes.
Yeah, and it's really nice to see that, and I want to experience that. Yeah, okay, so talk about your startup.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Kind of as I mentioned, I always worked in the industry as well, in the creator space. And also, I film YouTube videos myself. I just felt like there were a few gaps that still hasn't been addressed.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest ones, granted, from February until now, it's been like a little over half a year, okay?
Yes.
I've pivoted many times along the way. Like, there are a lot of ups and downs. Like, I was doing something entirely different 3 months ago, still in the same industry, but it has required a lot of like change and like pivots along the way. So I can go into detail there, but like I can also just talk about what I'm doing now. I think, which one would you prefer?
I think maybe just like talk a little bit about like what have you changed from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, changed quite a few times.
Okay.
Basically, the philosophy, I guess, when it comes to early stage building before product market fit is really to build fast, learn fast, and then iterate, and then do it again. And so right before I was doing what I'm doing now, I was basically trying to build a CRM for the creator economy.
Okay.
So think of it kind of like a Salesforce for the creator space, because a lot of creators do sponsorships,
Yeah.
but there's no good, reliable software they can use that is an enterprise level tool to track all the brand deals, who paid the invoice, who hasn't. So it's a really like archaic, fragmented process.
For sure.
So I had originally built an MVP to see if that would have legs and traction. It didn't have the traction that I wanted it to. It kind of just felt like an uphill battle.
Yeah.
So I had to really reevaluate what am I doing with my life. And just like 3 weeks ago, actually, is when I started working on what I'm working on now.
Wow.
So it's really new. I was having like an existential life crisis, don't get me wrong. Like, honestly, I think if you talk to any founder, every other week, we probably don't know what we're doing.
Oh my God, so true.
And like, I'm sure you've been in this position
Yeah.
before as well. It's before you start to get the regular cadence of like closing deals or like getting traction. It's kind of like, damn, am I really doing the right thing? And so I actually asked myself, I was like, do I have to build in the creator economy just because I worked in this industry? I was like, what am I good at? I can't code, so what can I build? And what am I good at? And I was like, sales is what I can do. So what can I do that leverages my passion for talking to people and helping them solve problems? And coincidentally, 3 weeks ago, I had 3 creators / career coaching friends that use a lot of social media for like lead gen ask me the same question. They were like, hey, my video editor just left. Do you have a recommendation for a video editor?
Yeah.
Or, they were doing a podcast and they were like burning out trying to do everything themselves. They were like asking me for recommendations. And so I asked them, oh, have you just tried searching online? And the usual response is, the only alternative you have right now is Upwork and Fiverr.
Oh
But
my God, cannot.
It's a total hit or miss. Like, there's just so many. Okay, Upwork and Fiverr is also not meant for the creative industry. You've got everything from freelance accountants to like cleaning up Excel sheets and
That is so true.
data and like it wasn't meant for creative work. So the filters and the way you find people is just not that great. And so I tried hiring an Upwork and Fiverr for my own video editors for my YouTube channel before. It just wasn't it. The best is always just word of mouth / knowing that this editor worked with someone else that you really liked. And referral systems. So I was telling them, you know what, I actually think I know another creator that does similar content to you. I can check if their editor is free. Started playing informal matchmaker. Then I got to a point where I was just asking myself, I wonder if I could just scale this. I wonder if this has legs. Obviously, Upwork and Fiverr exist as marketplaces. So I needed to figure out a way whether or not the creative industry has a need for it. And that's kind of how it all started. I told myself, if I can close deals and matchmake people without even having a website, just off of WhatsApp and an Excel sheet, that would be more validation and traction I got than in the last 6 months doing other stuff. So that's how it ended up all coming to be. And so I told people in my circle, I said, hey, if you know any creator that's looking to hire, whether it's a video editor, a videographer, script writer, or even a manager. So a lot of creators, they're signed to agencies right now, but they want to move away from an agency and hire an independent manager for themselves. If they're looking to hire a manager or a personal assistant, anything, come to me. I'll find you someone good. But one of the things that I had as a threshold during early stage, just to make sure quality is good, is every single, let's say, video editor that comes on board, the requirement is that they need to have worked with at least one other reputable creator before.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm an aspiring YouTuber, and there's a YouTuber that I really respect, and they do similar type of content. I would want to hire their editor if they're available. So right now, if you try to Google who's the editor of XYZ creator, you just can't find any of that information online. And they don't really live on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's not a place meant for creatives, because I just really wanted people to be able to search who's the editor of XYZ creator. And that's how we started. So now it's pretty much a hiring platform for creatives, any creative work. A lot of the customers that we have are content creators that are looking to hire and outsource and get more help. But we also have businesses. So a lot of, let's say, tech companies that are doing events and they want to hire a videographer to document it, but they don't want a fully-fledged production house. Like super hardcore overkill.
Like the ones that you like see on Google. Those are like full on like a corporate team.
And you don't really need that. You just want like a fun videographer that can capture the event and then make like an Instagram Reels or TikTok video out of it. who better to hire than a videographer that works with creators all the time to make social media content. So some of our customers ended up being businesses that needed to hire photographers, videographers. So that's where we're at now. It's actually still early days because it's only been 3 weeks.
Yes.
But I think it's an interesting space to be in, because I think more importantly, what I really want to do is to be able to properly credit people behind the scenes.
Oh my god, for sure.
It's kind of like how when you watch a good movie, you can go on IMDb and look at
The director. Yeah, like the crew.
Writers,
Yeah.
the crew. You can't do that for online content. And I want to, through building the marketplace and having everyone's portfolios and properly tagging all the data, we can actually pretty much build a discovery platform for everyone that's powering the creators behind the scenes.
Wow.
That is my vision, is to build an infrastructure for the media that we see online right now.
That really is an amazing idea, because when you texted me asking me if I need an editor, like, I've thought about this so many times, but it's not even a question that I would just like ask people, because I know I'll get an answer that I don't want.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I don't know who that is, or like in Hong Kong they always just use the same people. Yeah, so like it's so needed. And people always think that, okay, like if you're a YouTuber, you're an influencer, you have to like do everything yourself. Yeah, it's so not true. And it's like, it's a career, it's a company, and now it's so much more than just like,
you're a media company. That's
exactly.
Or if you're selling, coaching, you're a coaching business.
Yes.
So there's no way you can do it on your own.
Exactly. Yeah.
You shouldn't, actually. I honestly, if there's something that I've been doing YouTube videos for 10 years now, and granted, I don't necessarily plan on being a YouTuber full time because I've got my other baby to work on, but I don't regret things often. But if I can go back in time and change something, I would have outsourced my video editing much earlier, because I only started doing that 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I have had so many mental breakdowns in the last 10 years.
I feel you.
And it's impossible. Think about it. Now, every creator generally is on multiple platforms.
Yes.
YouTube, if you have a podcast, you're doing podcasting, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and like, it's not possible to do, and some people have Twitch as well. So if you're on YouTube, usually the ideal is upload at least one video a week. You film on a Monday, you spend Tuesday to Sunday editing your video to post it, and then on Monday you need to film again.
Yeah.
How are you going to have the brain space to be creative when you're deep into editing all the time?
Yeah, that is so true. And a lot of people actually don't understand this.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they think it's the norm.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's really, there's no short-circuiting video editing. You can be really good and do it quicker, but it's really difficult to try to you just have to put in the hours for editing. When you try to do everything yourself, which I've done so many times, you end up burning out, and then you go MIA for a couple of months, which is even worse. And you are the only one that loses in the end. So I always like, when I talk to creators, the way to view outsourcing and hiring and getting help is not necessarily as a cost, but as an investment in your growth of the business in general. And it is a very sensitive, touchy thing to let go. I mean, everyone develops their own editing style, their own creative, and they have a vision in their head on how their content should look like as an outcome. So letting go of that is a really big step. But the moment you do it, and you should ideally find someone good, it is the most liberating thing ever, because you free yourself up 12, 15, 20 hours a week.
Just the idea of that is so nice.
And so that's why I think it's not just about hiring any video editor and hiring any script writer. It's about hiring the right people.
Yes.
And it's kind of like working in tech as well, right? Like, you want to find the best talent to join you. You're not just finding any talent, any person that can do the job, just the right person for your need. I think that's really important.
No, for sure. Because I think one of the biggest problems that people have, including me, is consistency. Because I was sick for a little bit, or I have events to go to, things like that. It already takes up so much of your schedule that how can you still have the energy and the time to edit videos? It's impossible. It really physically is.
And I think that's why video editing tends to be the very first role people hire for as creators. It is the most immediate thing you can get help with. And it's so true. It's just, you cannot, as a creator, you cannot be the bottleneck of your own business.
For sure.
Or actually, for any context, if you are the reason why things are not moving along, that's when you know you need to hire someone.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of where you're at as well now, right? With everything that you're doing, you're preparing a lot of exciting things coming up. And
Because I have a full-time job.
yeah,
It really is so hard. Like now, I really truly understand like how admirable people are for just like managing a full-time job, managing like their household and doing something on the side.
Yeah.
Like how can they physically do that? There's not enough hours during the day. Yeah, so you really need to outsource things. Like
definitely.
yeah.
And that's one of those things where, because you have a job, you have a salary, if you are able to, with like cash flow and everything, to be able to use money to buy time.
Oh my god, yeah. Honestly, it's so much more worth it.
Yeah.
Because time, like, say if you're burnt out, that actually costs you so much more.
In the long
Like
run.
you get sick, you like slack off from your content, you don't get creative. There's just so many downfalls to that.
Also, you also don't perform as well when you go MIA and you come back. Your content just takes a big dip.
Exactly.
And you're bound to burn out. I think that's the biggest thing is mental health is so important.
You're bound to,
I know you are passionate about this as well. Just taking care of your own mental well-being. How can you expect yourself to not only be creative but just stay afloat in life when you need to do everything?
Yeah.
And you're probably doing sponsorships and brand deals and you need to negotiate those, and like there's so many things on the front and back end that you need to do running a business. So that's why I'm really passionate, actually. Passionate not necessarily just about helping people hire the right talent, but actually I think when I was doing a lot of reflection on what I wanted to do in life, why do I care so much about this industry? Ultimately, what I really like is I want to help more people be able to have a second source of income, or like a side hustle, or to make money. And I think posting content online is one of the lowest barriers to entry. I mean, you need a phone or a camera, and it's difficult to put yourself out there. But whether you like being in front of the camera like we are now, or you like working behind the camera, being able to power people to do more of that. If you want to learn how to video edit, you can start editing for people, and then you can start making money selling services. It's just increasing the ability for people to make money online. That's what I'm actually truly passionate about. And as in essence, So hopefully we'll scale this up.
I'm really excited for you. Like, honestly, I know so many people who need this service.
Oh my god, yes, pass it my way. But I'm really excited because I feel like there's so much to learn as well. Even when you are starting to hire someone and you're describing what you need, I will learn as we go and figure out how to make sure that the value add is large enough.
Okay, I'm just like feeling so excited and like so happy that you're in this stage in your life right now.
So this is where majority of my attention goes to, and I'm very thankful because my YouTube channel, I talk about my startup journey on there. So there's no massive difference. Like the lines are all very blurred. So I can do a day in my life and go to work and just film myself working and what I'm tackling. So for me, it's very sustainable to do it, and also because I outsource, it's very sustainable. I have a team of like a few editors that I usually work with, and they're the best. And I honestly would not survive without my editors. And a lot of creators in the same boat.
But do you have a routine? So like, what does your day-to-day look like?
Right. I have a really weird schedule.
Tell me.
I'm naturally a night owl, so I have my prime working hours. Like I get so much stuff done after dinner, all the way through to 1 a.m. But I also really like road cycling. And
road cycling.
So, you can just cycle, but then people on the road usually are on road bikes, and I'm like decked out on Lycra. So in Singapore, because it gets so hot so quickly, we usually start really early. So on the day I need to go cycle, I usually wake up at 4:30 in the morning. And then we would start cycling at around maybe 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. And then we'd cycle for maybe on a weekday 40 or so kilometers, go get a coffee, and then go home, shower, and I can still start work by 9-ish. So on the days that I go cycling, I have a really productive day, but because I really like staying up late, those days I actually don't sleep very much.
Oh my god.
So I really need to get better at this. But a usual day is like, start it with cycling, get back, do some work, and then between lunch, I don't know what you're gonna say.
Okay.
You know, there's certain times in the day where you're just very tired.
Oh my god, yeah, after lunch.
After lunch,
Yeah.
and then I've tried. Like, it doesn't matter what I eat. I think it's just naturally. I just get extremely.
It's just your body, like you're just used to it.
Yeah, and so after lunch, like 1:30, okay, no, maybe like 2 to 6 p.m., I'm just useless. Like, unless I'm out and about talking to people. So I really try to do all my people stuff. 2 to 6,
Gotcha,
because
yeah.
I'm an extrovert, so it energizes me to be with people.
Yes.
So 2 to 6 p.m. I try to do people stuff, because if I sit at a desk, you know, when you're typing stuff and you have no idea what you're typing, you're like, so tired.
Yeah.
So I will be like that. And then dinner, and then after dinner is when I try to work out. Yeah, so that's actually what every day of the weekday looks like.
That's pretty like routine actually.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, and then I would cycle 3 times a week, and on the days I'm not cycling, I'll let myself sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and then I do try to journal in the morning, because I have my friends. My friend has her own journal book.
Oh,
me.
nice.
And in the morning, I just write down, like, there's a few prompts, and I just write down that. Yeah.
Wow.
And then at night, I like to burn a candle when I'm winding down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my routine.
I saw on your Instagram the other day, like you were cycling on the F1 track.
I was.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah. I cycle. I only got into cycling a year ago, and I really love it.
Yeah.
It's you can do nothing but focus on the roads, because you need to for safety. And it's a good time to just either not think, not talk.
Yeah.
Or if you're with other people, it's 2 hours of socializing while working out.
Oh, that's
like
perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, and then we get to go get a coffee together, and then you start your day at the same time as I would if I were sleeping in.
Oh yeah.
So
sure.
it forces me to be an early bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how are you doing? Like here in Singapore, like social life, everything is great.
Yeah.
Like, events. I see you have so many events to go to.
Do I have a lot of events to go to?
Yeah.
I'm pretty like Monday to Friday. I'm pretty buckled down, just working. Okay, no, it was funny.
Yeah.
So this past weekend was F1 weekend, right? And there's a lot of stuff going on. And last night, before going to Amber Lounge, I was actually at home the entire day. Like, so I went to Amber Lounge at 12:30, so like midnight.
Yeah.
As of 10 p.m., I was still doing financial modeling at home. So
Oh
for
my
me, it was like, I work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
So I will be working up until the last minute that I can.
Yes.
And then I'll go to the things that I committed to.
Wow.
So social life-wise, when I first moved to Singapore, I'd never visited Singapore in my life before.
Yeah.
So I had no friends. It was pretty tough. It was after you and I met in Hong Kong.
Yes.
And then I properly moved to Singapore. The first 6 to 8 months was pretty rough, because you know, when you talk about energy and like vibe, it's not that there's anything wrong with the people that I met, but sometimes you're just not on the same wavelength,
Oh yeah.
and it can be a little bit draining at the end of
for
it.
sure.
So finding my people now, like my friends, has been such a blessing, and I found them, like a couple of years ago. But I really put myself out there. I have a YouTube video about how to make friends in a new country,
Okay.
and I downloaded Bumble BFF. I like put myself out there. I said yes to everything.
Yeah.
And now I'm really grateful. I have really close friends that I can rely on
That's so good.
as a pillar of support during tough times. And there's a lot of ups and downs with like founder life.
Oh my
being in
gosh. Yeah.
So being able to go to them is really great. And sometimes I don't want to think about work. I can tell them I don't want to talk about it. So I really love in Singapore, and they're like second family, our chosen family,
Oh
however
my
you want to call it.
gosh. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Wow.
They all hustle really hard for their full-time jobs, but everyone else also does really cool, fun stuff on the side as well.
That's amazing.
So some of them, I have my creator stuff on the side. Yes. Some of them, they are super into the Web3 world. So they have their own NFT collection. Some of the other friends just are generally really passionate about like whether it's cooking, whether it's whatever. They are pretty multifaceted people. So we just get along really well like that.
I think that honestly that's so important.
Yeah.
Because I personally also don't really, I mean like not like get along, but I can't just sit there and hear someone complain about work for the entire day.
No.
Yeah.
I try not to put my identity too much with work anyway.
Oh yeah.
And there needs to be more to life outside of work
For
as
sure.
well. So I really respect that. Also, the female friends that I have are all amazing. But also, it's really important, I think, to be able to have people you trust that you can talk to about salary information.
Yes.
Especially if you're all still like working. I'm close enough to them where we openly talk about salaries, talk about negotiations.
Yeah.
I think especially as women, it's really helpful to be able to be your hype woman when someone's going into like a salary discussion, and to be able to benchmark it and not just rely on online Glassdoor and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm able to talk to my friends about that, and I think every woman needs to have a little network that they trust that they can do that with.
That actually is a really, really good point. Like, yeah. Okay, first, do you have any advice for people moving to Singapore and if they're aspiring creators?
Okay, I'll just treat those as two separate questions.
Yes, they are.
Moving to Singapore, if you are moving to Singapore, I think there's just so much to explore. I just love this place so much. Okay, so definitely from a sightseeing perspective, just go visit all of these cool places, not just the touristy places, but the local spots as well. I think from a making friends perspective, there's a lot of other expats and foreigners from other places, so you're bound to meet really amazing people. When you were at Rise, you felt like you were so much younger than everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like really nervous and like didn't want to talk to people because I was just so scared of like being judged, or they would be like, oh, like what is this like young girl like doing at this place, you know what I mean? Yeah, but you're absolutely right. Like age really doesn't matter, and like some of my closest friends are like in their 50s, and like some of them are like going through divorces, different stages in life, like having kids. So I think just really about like the people that you vibe with, and honestly it's all meant to be. Like if you're meant to be friends with that person, it'll just happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also, if you are younger and you are surrounded by people in the industry who are older than you should be very proud of that.
Yes.
That means that you somehow managed to get into the same room as these people, even though you're a decade younger. So that should be something you should be proud of. And there's a reason for you to be in that room.
For sure.
As well. So if you are moving to Singapore, I think just say yes to everything. Go to every barbecue that you get invited to. Just put yourself out there. I think that's really important. And then the second question.
For aspiring creators.
Yeah. Honestly, I've had this conversation with so many people.
Actually, let me just like burn it down to so like 3 tips, like 3 main things if they're starting. So 3 things that they should do, and 3 things about their mindset.
Okay. Try to summarize into the 3 most important things that I think are worth doing. Okay. As an aspiring creator, just effing start. I've gotten questions from people about like, what equipment should I use? What camera should I use? What mic should I have? What software should I use? And I'm like, none of that matters. Like some of the biggest YouTubers started off 10 years ago using their MacBook webcams. You will progress and you will grow, and your equipment will upgrade as you go. But the most important thing and the biggest step to take is actually literally uploading your first video, your first photo. Second tip I have is, this is more tangible, is to be consistent. You do see a difference in the way the algorithm treats you when you are consistent. And consistency also is how you build a regular relationship with your audience as well. Ultimately, creating content is about building a community around a specific subject area or person or personality. So consistency, I think, is really important. And third is to have a growth mindset when it comes to this. And I'm not just saying this to plug my own startup by any means, but it's actually about not viewing hiring someone as a cost, viewing it as an investment, but also realizing that if you can outsource, you can do so much more. You open up your free time to think about expansion opportunities, collaboration opportunities. It's just so much better. So I think being in a growth mindset, also not just for creating content, just in general. Right? That's why you want to hire people to help you out. I think that's growth mindset in life is just really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we actually did a series of posts on this on the Blue Journal. So
this is where you need to like put in the little photos of it.
Here.
Growth mindset. I think there's a few different ways to think about it, but ultimately there's a ton of books. I'm sure you've probably talked about resources as well. A ton of books that you can read up about it. I think those would be the 3 biggest tips that come to mind right now. What about you? Do you have any that you think is really important?
I think what you said, like just do it. And although like don't give up. Like I know it ties into consistency, but I think mine is a little bit different. It's just like because there are so many low days in this journey, and you're just like, there are videos that like get like 1 view, or like it's all your own friends that like the photo. Like these things happen, and these are not the times that when you should give up. It just really like motivation for you to do better, like notice what you're doing wrong and just keep going.
That's so. I think that's really true. If you want to try to think about it more objectively, think of every video or photo that didn't do well as a data point for you to do another experiment.
Exactly.
If A didn't work, let's try B, then let's try C. But yes, don't get me wrong, and it's extremely demoralizing when you put in so much blood, sweat, tears into a video. You spend 40 hours filming and editing for it to get a really bad amount of views, and you were strategically planning because you think this video is going to do well.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh,
I
the
know.
number of times that has happened, you're not alone. I think you truly aren't alone with that, because I've had that before, and there are going to be low days, and it is a little bit of an isolating experience as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Doing it on your own.
First of all, I just want to say it's such a blessing to like have met you in my life.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think we get it. Also, we have different hustles that we're working on as well.
Yeah, because even for different like entrepreneurs or different influencers, they're not on the same path as you, or they may not have like the similar mindset. So you really have to like stand your ground to have your values like set out straight, that you're not gonna like compromise or settle for less.
Yeah, definitely. And the rest of it, you'll figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
The industry changes really quickly.
Open-minded, like you said.
Exactly. Just cross the bridge when you get there. Just do the first step first, and then honestly, as with everything in life, just do the first step, and then the next step will become a little clearer. Just take it day by day, step by step. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for having me.
So I have one more question.
Yes.
Like last question I ask everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to tell us one thing that you love most about yourself.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love this.
People take like a really long time to think about it, so you can like take your time.
One of them just popped up in my head. I think maybe because it's very relevant to my current situation. Grit.
Yeah.
My grit when it comes to not giving up. Which is very needed. There's a saying that I really like in the startup space for founders, and basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically it says the startup founders who made it just out-survived the others. Enough said, mic drop. So it's never easy. It's not easy for anyone, but if you've got the grit and the tenacity to keep going, that's the one thing that you can always rely on yourself for. And I'm proud of myself for having that. So.
And I'm so proud of you too.
Thank you.
Really.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it'll be you again next year.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, we'll trauma bond over our founder journeys.
Yes.
So thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much
for being here and like taking the time to like be with me.
Look at this beautiful setup, you guys.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for watching and listening on Beyond the Label podcast. So please subscribe, leave us a comment, and go on at the Blue Journal on Instagram to check out more daily doses of inspiration. So if you guys want to know more about Sherry or to follow her, what are your handles?
It's Sherrybyw on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
Awesome. I'll link that down below too.
All right.
And I'll see you guys soon.
Bye.